On this edition of In the Know, we are taking you through some of the devastation across the UK, all due to remnants of what was Category 5 Hurricane Umberto as it intensified into a very powerful low-pressure system as it approached the UK by the end of the week, bringing with it wicked winds, plenty of storm damage this weekend reported in England, Scotland, and Ireland. We're taking you through some of these scenes as we still continue to monitor some of these impacts, with hundreds of thousands of people left without power, trees downed in several areas, and flight delays were certainly expected and impacting the Dublin airport. This is one of the trees that have fallen, which when it comes to storms like these with such powerful winds, when we get some of these strong winds, the problem is the debris that falls down, which did result in multiple fatalities already this weekend. Now we're going to take you through some of this with our expert meteorologist, Kevin McKay. Kevin, this was once a hurricane. How did this become with the pressure dropping so low?
Well, this was, a Category 5 hurricane, but it didn't go from a Category 5 to this impressive pressure drop. The storm did weaken, became post-tropical, and then it gets drawn into that colder air in the northern latitudes over the cold North Atlantic waters into an Arctic trough, and that's when we see the pressure starting to drop again, all the way down to 947 over the Shetland Islands. That is very impressive.
And we saw some of those trees downed, winds at one point over 150 kilometers an hour. Kevin, this was also record-breaking for parts of Ireland. How strong were these winds?
Well, we were over 100 kilometers per hour for England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Norway, Denmark, Belgium, Netherlands, and right across the North Sea. But yeah, the peak recorded was 154. And I want to give a shout out to McGilligan. I think that would be a fun place to wait out a storm in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, certainly strong winds, which also resulted in plenty of impacts at the Dublin airport. As I mentioned, over 100 flights were canceled at the time of the storm. Over 80 flights diverged, which certainly created quite the commotion at the Dublin airport. All these people wondering when this storm is going to end, when is their flight going to be resumed. And if you were in an airplane, certainly a scary scene here as this pilot's trying to contend with some of the strong winds, the crosswinds. You can see this plane moving with the winds. Kevin, have you ever been on a flight quite scary or turbulent as this?
I've had some good turbulence, but normally when you're at 30,000 feet, not when you're at 30 feet, which doesn't have quite the same margin for error as when you're landing. So yes, I would not want to be on one of those flights, and I don't think many of the people in the airport, though they might be frustrated, I don't think many of them would be complaining about why their flights are being delayed.
Very true. Quite the scary scene there if you were in the airplane. However, people at home, Kevin, there were at its peak over 200,000 power outages recorded across Scotland, as well as thousands of power outages reported across Ireland as well. Well, a lot of the power has since been restored in some areas. We still do have some mess to clean up, considering some of these roads completely covered with floodwater. You can see the cars trying to travel through there. In fact, Scotland, in parts of Scotland, they had to cancel their ferry services, and plenty of road closures, all due to the high tides. So we continue to monitor this story here at the Weather Network with the devastation out in the UK.